What's going on, y'all? My name is Naeem Smith. I'm a former Juco All-American and All-Conference D1 safety at Rice University. Just want to shout out Tyler for the opportunity to come on and speak to all you guys. He has a list of questions that he wants me to talk on from my experience, so I just hope I can help some of you guys out there and get you guys educated so you can make the best decision and go out and go get yourself a scholarship. So the first question is, what's the biggest difference between some of the JUCOs? So he was talking about some of the Cali JUCOs and then JUCOs across the nation. So I have some buddies that have went to some Cali JUCOs. Some of the crazy things that you'll hear about, there's a lot of crazy stories, but one of the big things is for the out-of-state guys, they don't get scholarships actually. So you'll have to pay your way through to go there. And then also there's no housing on the actual campuses itself. So I have stories of buddies that lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with 8+ dudes at a time just because the rent is so expensive because, the cost of living in California is so high. So make sure you do your research if you're going to Cali. There's definitely a lot of good opportunities, especially if you're from the state. Then you can stay at home. I have some buddies that also did that, and then they just commuted to school, so it was easy for them. But if you're coming from out of state, make sure you're doing all your research and know what you're actually getting yourself into. Now, speaking on the other JUCO, so I went to Iowa JUCO called Ellsworth Community College. I want to shout them out real quick because they helped me go D1. But the biggest thing that you'll see is from state to state, whether you're in Kansas, Texas, Mississippi, Iowa, all these states have different rules and regulations for how many guys that can play on the out-of-state roster, so you can have a limited amount of spots, and then also the amount of scholarship money, because Kansas offers like what you would consider like a full ride because they have, just with their rules and regulations, they're able to do that. But a lot of other states don't do that, so they can give you some partial scholarships on top of the Pell Grant if you get that. So a lot of times you might end up actually not having to owe a lot of money if you're, a baller. So definitely do your research, like I said, because every state has different rules and regulations. So if you're coming from out of state, you're competing against all the other out of state guys. So make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. Second question is, how was the JUCO process for myself? And then how did I become a man? I mean, to be honest, JUCO was another opportunity for myself. I was under-recruited out of high school. I'm from Iowa originally, and I knew I was good enough to go D1. So I took the chance on myself, and I don't tell everybody to go take the chance on themselves because they need to be realistic. And I know I went JUCO, but it's not for everybody, because if you go JUCO, you have to be bought in. You have to come with a plan, and you have to know what you want to do to go out and excel on the field, because there was 155 guys when I came in summer ball, and we ended the season. So after the whole season, we ended with 66 in the room. So it just goes to speak. It's very competitive. Some guys aren't doing the right things. Some guys just, they get beat out by the competition and leave. Some guys want to give up football. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people that will help elevate you. And that's what I did. And that's what helped me go D1, because I came with a plan and a mission. It was books and ball. I already had good grades out of high school, but I wanted no complaints by any coaches or anything about my grades. And then I let the film speak for itself. And, it really just made me become a man, because I had to grow up. Nobody is going to go out at JUCO and make sure you're doing everything right. It's on you and the guys that you're around to really push each other, because you're not going to have the same facilities as a D1 or a D2 school. You're not going to have like the same schedule per se. Like, you're going to have a little more free time. So make sure you're doing what you need to do, whether it's rest, recovery, whether it's actually hitting the weight room more. All those things really will help you be a more well-rounded athlete. And then when the coaches come in, and trying to recruit guys, get on the good side with your coaches. Make sure you're not being a knucklehead out there, because your coach is literally the one that is going to vouch for you and get you opportunities. And that's what it happened for me, because coaches would come in and they ask your coach, is he a good guy? Can we trust him? Is his grades right? Because the film will speak for itself. If you're a baller, you're a baller. All right, so talking about the next question. So how was the JUCO recruiting process, and then how was it different from high school? So out of high school, I barely had any offers. So the only offer I had was a D2 school called Minnesota Mankato. Shout out Adam Thielen. That's actually where he went. So that was the only offer I had. There was a really, really good D2 school. I visited. I didn't want to go D2 because I said this earlier. Like, I was like, I feel like I'm selling myself short. Don't advise everybody to do that, because at the end of the day, it's all about getting your school paid for, or as much that you can get paid for. But I just didn't really get recruited. I'm from Iowa, so I was like, I'm going to take a chance on myself. And throughout the whole process at Juco, I balled out my first year. I led the team in tackles. I had 4 interceptions, like made a bunch of plays, but I wasn't getting any offers. Our coaches left right after the season too, so I don't think that really helped, because obviously when coaches are coming in and your coaches aren't there, they're, nobody's really vouching for you to get you an opportunity. So I had to come back for a second season. And honestly, it was a blessing in disguise, because I ended up becoming a Juco All-American that year. And really, I didn't get offers until the last couple weeks of the season. And, I got a couple offers, for example, Old Dominion, University of Northern Iowa, which is an FCS school, and then Rice. And those were the 3 offers I had. I feel like I was still under-recruited, considering I made a lot of plays. I was a Juco All-American, and I feel like I was one of the best safeties to come out of Juco. But honestly, it was a blessing, and I'm just really appreciative of the offer from Rice, because I ended up making that choice. And then how did I know Rice was home? I mean, right away when they sold the fact of, being able to play at the D1 level, and then also having a really high education, because it's considered the Harvard of the South. I mean, it spoke for itself. And now I'm debt free, and I'm finishing up a master's of accounting, and just able to do things that I wouldn't have been able to do. And my whole time at Rice was a huge blessing, because there was a lot of ups and downs, especially in the win column, but I got to start 3 years at safety for Rice, and it was really cool. I came in, I didn't even start the first game, but after that I started the rest of the season and started the rest of the games for the years on. And just a huge blessing. This last season I was an all-conference player. I was second on the team in tackles, and I was second in the conference in picks. So it was really cool. Just huge blessing to have brothers for life. And I mean, I hit them up every day, still around the stadium and around the team right now, just because I'm doing some film from the team also. So just make sure that you're taking advantage of your opportunities, because even once football is done, now I'm kind of focusing on the next step in my life, and I've been able to network with people that I took advantage of, and people in really big positions that you normally don't get to meet. So make sure you're taking care of life out of ball too, doing all the right things, and then try to go to a league. Everybody deserves a shot at the league if you're really putting in all the work, but you got to be a 1%er and truly put all your effort into it. So just want to shout out all you guys listening, and then just really appreciate my opportunity at Rice. I have to shout out Coach Bloom, Coach Smith, Coach Wilcher, Coach Spencer, all those guys. Just they helped mold me into a better football player, and I was able to make a lot of plays for the Rice Owls, and they're having a lot of success this season. So I feel like I helped contribute to that, because I helped mold some young guys. So really just want to say shout out to Tyler with Hips Too Smooth for letting me on today. I hope you guys got some knowledge. I know I rambled on a little bit, but I want to make sure that I gave you all the knowledge that I possibly have for you guys, because I truly want to help all the athletes out there. So make sure you also check out the Elevated Edge podcast. I drop Monday and Wednesday episodes trying to help out other athletes just to be able to get to the D1 or NFL level with interviews from those type of guys. So really appreciate y'all tuning in, and y'all take it easy.